Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jai Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jai Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Jai Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to your Libra Full Moon Astrology broadcast. My name is Jai Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here. Those of you that are here live, welcome in to the live chat, and those of you that are watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replay. I want to welcome in all of the new subscribers from the last few days. The channel literally has gotten, I think, like 200 subscribers the last few days. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate your interest in what I have to offer here, and thank you to everyone that was here during the global meditation on Saturday night. That was freaking amazing. I'm still buzzing from that. And thank you to everyone who has checked out all of the other videos and all of the other content that I have to offer. Before we get into the astrology and before I say hi to everybody who's in the chat, I wanted to let you know of a couple of things that are going on the channel. And the first one is that I still have the spring webinar is still available for purchase. If you want to know what the next 3 months are like astrologically, and you want to know the story of how the major transits play out for the next 3 months, I did a webinar about a week ago where I went through each of those transits in detail and explained everything, and also how it's affecting your sun sign and also your rising sign, and that's available for $10 to purchase that replay video. The link to purchase that is in the description of this video. If you have not yet subscribed to my newsletter, make sure you subscribe because every week I release a moon magic report where I tell you what the moon is doing for the week. I also tell you what planets it's affecting, what aspects it's making to other planets, and how this affects us emotionally, because the moon represents our emotions. So that comes out every week, every Wednesday. So if you sign up today or tomorrow, you'll be on the list to receive that newsletter that will come out on Wednesday. And people have really been enjoying that as well. If you want to book a personal reading with me, tarot or astrology, you can find those on my website at channelforgrace.guru. And if you want to get on the list for Friday's mini readings, make sure you sign up. I already have 2 people on the list and it's Monday. So I have a feeling the list will get really full this week on Friday night, but we'll be live Friday night doing mini readings for $25. And to get on the list, you donate to my PayPal, $25. So all the information is below. Just go check it out. I wanted to get through that to let all of you guys know that are new to the channel where you can find me. I also have Instagram at Channel for Grace. a Facebook group called Channel for Grace Soul Tribe, and I post a lot on there right now. We're actually doing a 40-day meditation together in that group, so if you want to be a part of that, definitely be a part of that. So let's see who's in the chat tonight. We've got Shari in the chat, KB, hello, Deidre, Janice, Wendy. How's it going, you guys? Thank you for being here. We've got Kim, thank you for the donation. Alexa, hello. Stephanie, Valerie, Brittany, Tina, Melanie, Christina G, Boobarth. Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you. And Jennifer is also here. All right, so who's ready to find out what this full moon is all about? It's a little bit intense. It feels like right now, it feels a little bit like the aftermath of like a major event. Are you guys feeling that? Because I'm kind of feeling that. Feeling like, whoa, like something just happened, something huge just happened, and now we're kind of like floating out of that energy and like, okay, what do we do now? Like, where do we go now? And then here's this like full moon coming, and the full moon always magnifies everything, makes everything so much more intense emotionally. And it's like, whoa, a lot of us can feel so sensitive, have so many sensitivities to a full moon, especially after such a powerful event. When the moon was actually waxing in its gibbous phase, where it has power, like it has, you know, intensity. So yes, me, says Kim, definitely. Yes, floating, jumping up and down, jumping up and down. That's a new one. I'm feeling confused and having crazy dreams. Me too, Rita. I have been having crazy dreams too. You guys, my sleep is so different from normal. It's so different. And it's almost like every night I have some intense dream, and then I wake up at random times during the night and I'm like kind of wide awake, but it's so weird. I don't even know how to describe it. But this full moon is it's really intense because as we're going to see in the chart very soon, there's 2 T-squares in the sky, and a T-square is it feels like tension. It feels like there's a lot of tension, and the tension must be resolved. And so we have to look for the resolution of that tension within ourselves. Right now is the time for us to really trust our own inner powers. Yes, the same dreams. Hi, Daphne, welcome in. Yeah, so for sure, totally, you guys are all feeling that energy already. And if you're someone who feels like, you know, you're a light worker or a starseed, or, you know, you've come here to the planet and you have this purpose and you feel it very strongly in your being, when major astrological events happen, you feel that. And intuitively, you know that it's happening, but maybe you don't have the words to describe it, but you can totally feel the energy. That's what's going on with all the light workers and the starseeds. We're like, whoa, and we're having to hold it all together. I mean, not really, but we're having to hold our own, I guess, during this time, and really like stand up and be in our best, in our power, in our confidence, in our strength. And anchor that light, because that's what the planet needs right now. Hello, Anne. Welcome in. I'm sure the moon looks amazing right now from wherever you guys are looking at it. So let us jump into the full moon chart and talk about exactly what is going on with this full moon and how this full moon is going to be affecting all of us. So give me a second while I connect my iPad to the screen and show you guys the chart. And thank you to all the moderators that are here tonight. And again, thank you to all the new subscribers. Feeling super blessed right now. Super blessed. Tomorrow we will have the ceremony, so make sure to tune into that. So I usually do the astrology video right before the new moon or the full moon, and then the next day we do the ceremony. And so if you've never been to one of the ceremonies, it's going to be a little bit like what we did in the global meditation, but there's a new aspect that a lot of you haven't experienced yet, and that is I actually do some chanting with my hand drum, and that might be something new that you haven't experienced. So let's see here. Let's switch screens. You should be able to hear me and see this full moon chart. So I'm going to be writing all over this chart. If you're new to these type of broadcasts, the astrology broadcast, I show you everything that's going on, and I point it out in the chart. So it kind of becomes a really great way for you to learn some astrology along the way. Hello, Shannon. Okay, so here we go. You're looking at the chart right now. This is the chart of the full moon. Now, the first thing that we have to remember about a Libra full moon, because you have to look at the sign that the moon is in when it's full and when it's new. That gives you a lot of information. The Libra full moon is all about finding balance, and actually, doing it in a way, by way of our relationships or through our relationships, because Libra is the sign that is ruled by the planet Venus. And so Venus rules relationships, it rules beauty, it rules what's beautiful. And we all know when you think about Libras, people that are Libras or have Libra rising, usually Libras are so focused on their relationships. It's incredible. But the ruler, because this full moon is in Libra, this means that the ruler of this full moon is actually Venus, who is over here in Gemini. Now, she just recently moved into Gemini, and the meaning of her being in Gemini is a focus on relationships, but at an intellectual level, understanding and communicating with others. It's almost like opening the door to be able to really, truly communicate with each other. The good thing is that, these two planets, for example, I'm calling the moon a planet. A lot of people call the moon a planet. Yeah, some of you guys have Libra rising. These two planets are in signs that are related to the air element. And that's significant because when you have signs that are in the same element, they get along with each other. So that's a good aspect of this full moon. Now, a crazy aspect of this full moon is the fact that Jupiter and Pluto are going to be T-squaring the moon, which I'll show you in a moment, and Chiron will also be T-squaring the nodes, which is significant as well. Let me show you where that is. So we've got Jupiter and Pluto right here. Now, Jupiter has moved into 25 degrees. So the conjunction is officially, like the main part of that conjunction is officially over, but this conjunction is still, the energy of it is still here. It's obviously it's going to last until the rest of the year and beyond, because the changes that such a significant conjunction with two outer planets effects last long term. These are long term changes and shifts. So we've got the Jupiter Pluto conjunction right there, and you've also got, well, let's look at the sun. The sun is in Aries, in the fire sign, and the moon is in Libra. And the way that you know that there is a full moon is because the sun and the moon are exactly opposing each other. So there they are. That's the opposition. Now, when you get a square and then another square, now this creates a T-square. That's what's called a T-square. A T-square is a type of astrological alignment that creates tension, like I mentioned. And this tension needs to be resolved in order for you to move forward. If, for example, you were, welcome Chris, you were born with, you have a T-square in your natal chart, that means that the energy of that T-square must be resolved, or you need to deal with it in order to heal. And, this full moon T-square is going to be a mixture of high intensity emotions, control, the desire to be in control, mixed with like this forceful, relentless, and demanding drive to achieve personal power and success. Now, I know some of that probably is like a little convoluted, so I'm going to go through each of the little aspects of the T-square to make it more clear as to what what this actually means. Like, how is this actually manifesting for us in our own lives? So when the moon squares Jupiter, there's nothing subtle about your emotional expression. The Jupiter magnifies everything it touches. No one around you can mistake exactly how you feel. As individuals, we might feel like we're walking around with our hearts on our sleeves. How many of you guys are actually kind of feeling this way right now? Like your heart is on your sleeve, your emotions are out there to everyone to see. You're not really hiding. You're not really hiding how you feel. I think a lot of us might resonate with this energy. And when the moon squares Pluto, the emotions run high. Pluto also magnifies it, but in a different way. It intensifies it. And Pluto also brings in the desire to be in charge or to be in control. So if we can direct this energy towards ourselves, this will serve us. But if we try to direct this energy outwards, this won't work out very well. I'm sure that that's very clear, right? If you try to control others, that's not gonna work, right? Yeah, a lot of you guys are definitely feeling that. Yes, will it bring me Scorpio, Moon, and Sun, Sag? Zam, hello, welcome into the broadcast. So we actually, during this time, we need to find ways to work through and honor our own emotional responses. Because basically what this means is that emotions are running high right now. In everyone, whether you're conscious of it or not conscious of it, emotions are running high. I think a lot of people are starting to kind of go into freak out mode, if I can be a little frank, right? And so if we can find ways to work through and honor our emotional responses to what is going on and understand the intelligence that is inherent in us, these things will actually help heal our emotional wounds. Remember that Pluto in Capricorn is here to expose the truth. And I talked about planet Sedna, I think in the 4/4/2020 video, the dodecahedron portal. I talked about the astrology of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. So make sure you check that video out if you have not yet. But I also talked about planet Sedna and how planet Sedna is here to bring up our collective and individual trauma, so that we can finally once and for all deal with it, face it and heal it. And yeah, cabin fever, right? It's crazy. So that's what's happening right now. Like, it really is about being okay with the unknown and being okay with this Pluto energy that's like traveling through the underworld and forcing us to see things that maybe we didn't want to see. We really wanted to believe that everything was okay, but all of a sudden these things are coming up, and it's okay. Like, there's absolutely no judgment, but we need to heal it, right? We need to face it and we need to heal it collectively as a human race and individually in our own personal lives. That's the key to actually moving forward in life. So when the sun, so that's this square. We just talked about this square, right? So here's the other half of the T-square, and it has to do with the sun and Jupiter and Pluto. So when the sun squares Jupiter, this can activate an optimistic view of things. And I personally align with this energy much more than, say, the negative aspect of what's going on. And the reason for that, and you might be too, you might be hearing this and being like, I actually feel really good. Like, I am actually feel really positive. I'm actually really excited about what's coming. I'm not feeling a negative energy. But here's what's happening. There's the thing is that, like, the perspective that you see this from is huge. It makes a big difference how you look at things. So your perspective will determine basically how you will respond to what's coming up. So you could be someone like, for example, I'm giving myself as an example because this is important. You could be someone like me that feels really excited about what's coming, but also understand that this is not easy for everyone on the planet. And it's not easy for me either. But stuff is coming up, And I am responding and I am dealing with what comes up from a perspective of, you could call it a Jupiterian perspective, where you look at what's going on from the bigger picture. You know, Jupiter is ruled by Sagittarius and the 9th house of spiritual integration. There is integration here. The power of integration is available to all of us right now. And if we look at this from this higher perspective, what we see is so different than being stuck in the middle and not being able to move forward. And we need that bigger perspective. And that's why Jupiter is playing such an important role during this time here for us. And so I have hope, which is what Jupiter gives us. And I believe that this will turn out for the better in the end. And that doesn't mean that you ignore what's going on. It just means that you have faith that everything is going to ultimately be okay. Because ultimately, everything is always okay. Everything is perfect by design. So when the sun squares Pluto, this is the other aspect of the T-square, this brings like a forceful energy, a relentless energy. It's demanding because of your drive to achieve personal power. So what does that apply to here, right? Well, some people with these aspects in their charts, in their natal charts, can be ruthless in the face of obstacles, and they can try to control everyone and everyone around them and all the situations around them. You know, we can see that that's not a very good, that won't have a very good outcome. And it's not the energy that we want to be in right now. But I'm afraid that at a structural level, I'm not really afraid, but I think that at a structural level and a collective level, this has been the case with Pluto in Capricorn. And this kind of control dynamic is what Pluto in Capricorn is breaking down. The control that has been had, right? The control dynamic that is going on the planet, that's what Pluto in Capricorn is beginning to break down. And the tension that we all collectively feel is because the forces that are sort of in control right now, in a way, they won't go down easy, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like it'll take some time for things to fully shift into a new paradigm, but it's happening. And we basically, this is what's happening. In a collective, we're in a collective year of the falling of the tower. 2020 is the collective falling of the tower, or the structural falling of the tower. You guys know the tower card, right? The tower card represents when things fall apart because something new is coming. And this happens in our lives individually, and this happens right now, it's happening collectively. Pluto is taking its power back. And there's still a lot to come in the future. So if there was something that I can tell you that you need to do right now to take care of yourself, to be in the right place, in the right space, in the right mind, in the right, energy, is to sit tight and know where you stand. You have to know where you stand. Let's look at a different aspect of what this moon is doing. So we go back to the moon, and we also see that it is quincunxing Neptune. There's the quincunx, and there's Neptune. It's actually Neptune and Mercury, because Neptune and Mercury are actually conjunct right now. So adding to this energy, this quincunx to Neptune, because Neptune is the planet of emotions, dreams, the subconscious mind, the divine. This is the realm of the other the next dimensions, Akashic records. So this quincunx is going to make us extremely sensitive. We will feel, a lot of us, those that are empaths, we're going to feel like little antennas picking up the feelings of everyone around us. And if we don't have the tools to filter our psychic information, we're going to be overwhelmed, and we're going to be unable to cope with too many feelings at once, or conflicting feelings, which is the shadow side of the Libra energy, right? The inability to make a choice or a decision, that's the shadow side of Libra. So this oversensitivity can lead to actual confusion and a lack of trust in our own instincts. A sort of illusion or self-deception, which Neptune rules too. Neptune rules illusion and deception. And a lot of times that is self-deception. But a lot of times it can be on a mass scale, deception at a mass scale, right? But the truth is that you know intuitively what to do and what is coming. And we need to remember to trust ourselves at this time, to trust ourselves as sovereign beings on the planet. Unfortunately, what's going to happen is that many people will try to escape the pain, the trauma, the emotions. Because if you think about all the people, right? Many of you guys watching this video probably feel like, or consider yourselves like an awakened being, because you wouldn't be actually drawn to this type of information if you weren't in some way, shape, or form in the process of finding yourself. I believe that. I mean, I guess it's not true for every single case. But if you're drawn to these sort of otherworldly ways of seeing things, if you're drawn to the occult, right? Astrology is a practice that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Astrology precedes basically like time as we know it, like the clock, and you know what I mean, like the days of the week and stuff. But anyways, astrology has been here for thousands and thousands of years. And in the beginning, astrology was more of like the analysis of like looking up at the stars and making star charts from the perspective of Earth. So it's been around for a long, long time. This is occult knowledge. This is definitely considered occult knowledge. So if you're attracted to this kind of stuff, you know, the study of different dimensions, the study of different, you know, thank you for that donation, Kim. The study of different ancient cultures and civilizations. And you yourself feel, you know, like I mentioned before, like some kind of like person that has a purpose here on the planet that is more than just to live a life. Like you are here more than just to like be born, live a life, and then die. Right? That's called life purpose. You feel like you have a purpose. If you are not one of those people on the planet right now, can you imagine how hard these energies are like hitting you? Because they're not only hitting you subconsciously, you don't even know what's going on. Like, because human beings are all connected. We all have the potential or the capability to understand this stuff. It's just that some of us have gone on a path that it's very far away from sort of this aspect of reality. And so those people are going to be the ones that I might not be able to handle it because they don't know what's going on. Can you imagine? It's almost like walking around being blind, or, you know, walking around and then, I mean, this is a funny example, but like, it's kind of like one day you're like walking around and then freaking spaceship lands and aliens come out. And if you're someone that like normally lives in fear, like you're probably going to lose it. But if you're someone, for example, that studies Dolores Cannon and knows the meaning of these extraterrestrials or these beings that come from, you know, out in the solar system, the galaxies, the universe, you kind of you already know what's happening. Like you might be less scared, you know? I'm not saying you're not going to be scared, but what I'm saying is you're going to understand what's going on from a different perspective. But if you don't have that perspective, it's almost like the blinders are on. So this is the time to ask yourself, am I anchoring the light? Man, this is some good tea. Am I anchoring the light? The other thing that I mentioned is that Chiron, who's over here also in Aries. Yeah, if you don't know Dolores Cannon, like look her stuff up. The first book I read of hers was called Keepers of the Garden. It was a really good one. I think I like that one as like the first Dolores Cannon book. And then the second one is the three waves of volunteers. I can't remember the exact title of that book. But let's talk about Chiron for a minute. Chiron's been in Aries for a while now. And he is the wounded healer. He teaches us how to heal. Right now, he is T-squaring. So the same thing that I showed you. He's squaring the North Node, which is in Cancer, and he's also squaring the South Node, which is in Capricorn. So these two are opposing. So there we go. There's the other T-square. Again, creating tension. Tension that needs to be resolved. With Chiron square the nodes, this means a journey, a challenge of collective soul healing. Because this involves all of us. This full moon, this is a collective reading. So this is a how it's affecting us collectively, right? So no one can truly escape the ultimate plan or the ultimate timeline for a planet, which is, in reality, it's ascension of the planet. So we must realize that finding balance, right, there comes in the Libra energy again. Finding balance within ourselves involves understanding our past traumas, South Node, in Capricorn, which is all the old structures, the old ways of doing things, and integrating, healing it into our body, mind, our spirit, and transcending it, moving towards the North Node, our true purpose. Collectively right now, the North Node in Cancer is about connecting to your heart center, knowing what you love. What do you love? What's your true purpose? What does your heart truly desire? This is about balancing, right? The emotional, Cancer is the moon. Cancer is ruled by the moon. The emotional, the physical, which is kind of Capricorn, very Capricornian, earth, and then the mental realms, which you would think are all the air signs, Libra moon. So Chiron is, again, he was also square. He's been squaring the nodes for a while. So I feel like right now, because the nodes are in their last degrees of Cancer and Capricorn, and on May 5th, they're going to move into Gemini and Sagittarius. I think that this alignment right here with Chiron squaring the nodes at their last degrees before they switch signs is like the last call to connect to your heart center, to connect to that place. Okay, let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is over here, conjunct Neptune. He's in Pisces. He's at 25 degrees of Pisces, and the planets only go to 29 degrees. So he's getting close to the last degrees of Pisces. He's been in Pisces for a long time. Remember, he went retrograde? He went retrograde in Pisces, moved back into Aquarius, came direct, and then moved back into Pisces. So it's been a really long Mercury in Pisces transit. So Mercury in Pisces actually holds the key to understanding all of this, to understanding this whole chart. Mercury in Pisces is the ability to understand the bigger picture. Remember what I was talking about with Jupiter? The ability to see beyond what is here in the three-dimensional reality, and to be able to communicate that which comes from the world of dreams, or the world of the subconscious mind, which is Neptune. Mercury is sextiling Jupiter. So there we go. A sextile is different than a square. A sextile and a trine is a much more harmonious aspect than a square. Mercury sextile Jupiter is wisdom beyond your years. It's an activation of your intelligence, an open-mindedness, and the desire to seek the truth, to seek knowledge. It's honest and genuinely interested in understanding. This will help those of us who are seekers of the truth. What happens when Mercury sextiles Pluto? Mercury sextile Pluto is the ability to delve deeper into and master any subject that interests you. I mean, think about that. Pluto actually represents the occult too. It's like a powerful mental energy that will give you the ability to program your thinking in any way that you choose. And it will give you the determination to commit and to follow through on any goal that you set. This is the key to resolving the power dynamics that are going on collectively and also individually. It's trusting the guidance from divine forces and trusting it so much that you know where you stand, that you know where you're choosing to go, and you commit to your path. It's time to fully commit. And so this begs the question, well, then what is your purpose? Do you know what your purpose is? And with the conjunction to Neptune, Neptune just feeds Mercury more power. It gives extra power to the Pisces energy. So all of these things are going on with this full moon. I know this is a lot, but when you start to see all the different aspects of all the different sort of conversations and maybe arguments that are going on between the planets, it gives you that bigger picture. And right now we're literally seeing that the key to healing and finding balance is the bigger picture, is to see the bigger picture of what's going on. So let's now look at Venus, because Venus is the ruling planet of this moon, because the moon is in Libra and Libra is ruled by Venus. So Libra is all about relationships. It's about seeing the beauty in the world and finding balance through the chaos. Like really finding the balance through the chaos. So Venus is doing this. She is actually trining Mars and Saturn and sextiling Chiron. So there's the trine to Saturn and Mars, and there's the sextile to Chiron. So those are the two that we're going to talk about. Thank you guys so much for being in the chat. I know I'm not paying too much attention to the chat because there's a lot of information to get through, and I want to keep it flowing for those that don't really participate in the chat and the replay viewers too. So, but I do appreciate you guys so much, your support, and all the moderators in there too. Thank you. So Venus trine Mars is about surrounding yourself with the right people, connecting with the right people. Venus trine Saturn is about taking our commitments seriously and readily contributing and accepting your share of responsibility to ensure that harmonious relationships are achieved, both in a general way and in your romantic relationships. I know a lot of you guys want to know what's going on with that. But Venus is trying to help us activate this full moon in Libra in our own lives, encouraging us to step up and be leaders in our own way. Hey, Jason. The sextile to Chiron from Venus is about knowing where you stand in regards to relationships. People who actually have this placement in their chart, they either express this deep level of devotion towards others or towards their object of affection that is beautiful and breathtaking, or in the shadow side, they completely sacrifice themselves for someone or something else that doesn't return the same energy. So in other words, like someone who, this is like comparing someone who blindly follows or someone who literally enslaves themselves to the object of adoration by way of the adoration, versus someone who loves but truly loves with a compassionate heart. It becomes a sacrifice of yourself to another when you activate that shadow side. But those kind of relationships, they never last, because you've literally given your power away to an external force. And right now is not the time to give our power away. Right now is the time to take our power back. And the way that we do this is by taking responsibility for our own actions, responsibility to heal ourselves, and choose to help the energy move forward by knowing where we stand and committing to the future and not the past. The age of Aquarius is about the future. It's about moving forward in a direction, and this full moon in Libra is helping us, one, find balance through the chaos, because there is a lot of chaos going on. We all agree that one, right? We all agree on that one, right? So it's helping us to find balance through the chaos, and two, to discover our own inner strength as beings connected by a collective mission. So in order to create the kind of society that we want to have, we have to act like the kind of citizens that would live in that kind of society. And that means not blaming others for doing it wrong, not blaming the leaders or whoever is in charge, because the reason that they're acting the way they're acting is because they're just mirroring the energy of the society. And the society is an unhealthy society. It's an unhealthy civilization. To tip the scales the other way, it's not about finding who's at fault. It's about starting to act in ways that actually bring more of the energy that you want. Let me transition back to me over here. So here's a good example. So instead of like blaming, leadership or politicians or whoever you want to blame about, for example, poverty or something like that, right? Instead of doing that, what we actually need to do is like ask ourselves, am I actually doing something in my own power to help this shift, right? Am I helping those that are less fortunate? It's our own individual actions that are going to create the actual change. It's by us being the ones that actually take the time to act in ways where we want to see the world go. Otherwise, the future just continues to be an idea and never finds its way into the 3D. It just continues to be like, oh, like the world will be a better place when I can see it, I can imagine it, but then how are you going to bring it here? It's like, well, that everybody has to take their own action in their own lives. I'm not saying like, go solve world hunger, but I'm saying, what can you do yourself to resolve that issue? That's what's going to start to change the society. And that's why right now people are becoming much more aware of what's really going on and why we're all having to do this like quarantine thing and the world has stopped. Is because we're all reflecting right now. This is a time of reflection. And the full moon in Libra is going to bring up like, okay, how does this affect us in terms of our relationships with other people? Well, we have to be responsible. We have to take responsibility for ourselves when it comes to relationships. So that's pretty much the astrology of this full moon. And now I'm going to answer questions if you guys have questions. The teachings are awesome. I am revisiting the Toltec Awareness ebook. Oh, are you guys talking about the 4 Agreements? That's a good one. That's a really good one. If you haven't read that book, the 4 Agreements, definitely read that book. It'll help you with this whole like separating yourself from what is not you, Thank you, Christina Maria, for posting that up. Preach, lady. Yeah, there's just a lot going on. Tomorrow we're going to do the full moon ceremony. And if you've never been to the ceremony, like put it on your calendar. Same time. I usually go live around the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Central. I mean, not Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. You're welcome, Mary. I finally ordered our book, Club Book Jai. You're hilarious. My job this week is to actually read the book, because I started reading it last week, but I was getting ready for so many things and getting ready for all those like major broadcasts that took all my attention. But now this week I'm gonna be able to sit down and enjoy reading the book, and I'm really excited. Actually, if you are curious about what the heck I'm talking about, in the Facebook group called the Channel for Grace Soul Tribe, we have started a book club, and we're reading the book called I have the image of the book in my mind, Revelations from the Ruby Crystal by Barbara Handclough, who is an internationally known author, and this is her part of her books of fiction. But the cool thing about them is that they actually talk about, they tell the story of the unfolding of the Aquarian age in a way that activates our intuition and our Neptunian mind, I guess you could say. So join the Facebook group if you want to, and let me know if you want to join that book club. It'd be fun to have you. Yeah, make sure you do hit the notification bell and subscribe if you're new to the channel, if you're watching this video new. I read the free preview already. I know, right? Me too, Jason. Me too. Awesome. I love that you love the book, Valerie. Stephanie, that's funny. Yeah, so I'm excited to dive into that as well. Well, anyways, I don't think there's any questions, so I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Share this video out, and don't forget to check out all of the awesome stuff that's going on in the world of the Channel for Grace. Everything in the description box. Basically, I'm still offering the spring webinar for $10 to buy the replay. I have a newsletter that you should definitely sign up for, so you can receive the weekly moon magic reports. If you want to sign up for mini readings on Friday nights, get on the list by sending $25 to my PayPal. You can do that in the link below. And then if you ever want to book a personal reading from me, astrology or tarot, you can do so on my website. And I offer a few different types of astrology sessions. So I would recommend going to my website and checking out what I offer, and then making your choice from there. I offer like a life purpose reading, a transit reading, and also a transit/tarot, and then also an extensive astrology reading. And that one I give you like a 30-page report, and we meet for an hour and a half if you want to dive really deep into your chart and the next year. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. So one thing that I forgot to do this today. I normally do this, but I think I'm going to add it to tomorrow's broadcast. So when we do the ceremony, before I go into the actual ceremony, I'm going to go through each of the signs, your sun sign and rising sign, and tell you where this moon is happening in your chart, like what house it's actually happening in. So all of this energy we'll find out tomorrow. I think that'll be a fun thing to leave to tomorrow's broadcast, and get you guys excited about that. And I'll play some more music tomorrow too. So that's going to be fun. My favorite crystal, Lemurian seed crystals. I have a few of them. Yeah, they're definitely my favorite because it connects you to the ancient knowledge of the Lemuria. Enough said, right? Boss lady, that's funny, KB. Yes, thank you everyone. Thank you moderators. Yeah, Brittany, she got the extensive astrology reading, and it's pretty powerful. All right, you guys, thank you. Have an amazing rest of your night as we get ready for this full moon tomorrow. And tomorrow night we will be gathering together for the full moon ceremony. Satnam. See you guys soon.